What's up everyone? Shane here with ROA Off-Road. You want to introduce yourself? You've been with us before, but just for those who are new.
Vaughan from MDC USA.
Yeah.
And MDC in Australia.
Yeah, you're from Australia.
Absolutely.
Confusing people by saying from the USA with that accent. So what are you doing out here in the US?
Well, we're out here testing the products with your team, Shane. You know, we've got a new model for you guys, the XT12HR, that we've been taking around the tracks for a while. And the XTT here is something that you guys have just run your eyes over and that we've just been on the trails for about the last 3 or 4 days.
What do you think of the trails that we've been doing yesterday? How was that road?
Yeah, I think they're amazing. We get trails like that in Australia also, but what I've since found out is the mountains here are a lot higher than what we have in Australia. So I think our tallest mountain, Mount Kosciuszko, is around 7,300 feet, which compared to the US mountains is a little bit tame. But what I do like about the terrain here is there's trees either side of the track. So should you have an unfortunate incident, there's a chance you may get saved. And it's a little bit less scary because you got the foliage both sides. Whereas a lot of the tracks in Australia, you can see the edge of the mountain for all the track, which is a bit how you going.
So you know if you're gonna go over, you're not stopping.
Well, it's just seeing it is the scary bit.
Yeah. It's kind of like with those switchbacks we came down, we dropped probably 3,000 feet in 2 miles, but it wasn't that bad because it's just fully wooded. You delete all the trees and you just look down a 3,000 foot cliff right there, and that would have been pretty scary. The terrain though, was pretty rough, that rocky road?
Yeah, it was very, well, we say shaly, very loose. My vehicle had some issues getting up, but I don't have the correct tires on that vehicle. It was one of our sales reps' vehicles that's just got road tires and we didn't have time to change them for the trip. So those tires, they're gone. All 4 need changing now. So
we had 2 blowouts in 1 day yesterday, so it was an eventful day for sure, right? But the trailers had no issues.
No, not at all.
None at all. So while we got you, we do want to talk a little bit about this Robson. Tell us about how this came about, this trailer.
So there's a bit of evolution when it comes to the tent trailers in Australia. So the original models were a soft floor. So basically it was a garden variety trailer with a tent that just fell off to the side and on the ground. So that was a soft floor. From there, we evolved to a hard floor rear fold, and a hard floor forward fold came along a few years later. So the double fold model is a combination of the rear fold and the forward fold. And as you see, it folds out both sides. So it's a hard floor, it keeps you off the ground. It's quite large. When we look at the name Robson XTT, originally it was just XTT, which means Extreme Tent. Steve Robson was one of our very popular sales guys in Australia for many years, and he was setting up for a show in Sydney and had a heart attack on site setting up for a show. And so we named this model for him and for his family, and it turned out to be our most popular tent trailer that we've ever manufactured. So in Australia, there's thousands of these running around.
Wow, that's incredible.
Yeah. And you know, the price point, it is our most expensive tent trailer that we do, but it's also the most popular. So the customers are actually seeing the value, particularly customers with larger families. And how it works in Australia is basically, you know, you start with a simple variety 2-man or 6-man tent. You might go to a rooftop tent. From a rooftop tent, you'll go into a tent trailer. From a tent trailer, you go into a travel trailer. And then, you know, when you're maybe 65 plus, you might end up in a motorhome. That's sort of the evolution of camping in Australia. And
similar in the US too.
Yeah.
A lot of people, their final setup will be a trailer or a motorhome, just depending on your preference. But yeah, so this is perfect for families. I think you could put comfortably a family of 6 and probably a family of 7.
Oh, in this part, absolutely. So this annex here, which we leave connected to the roof because it makes it easier for setup, comes out another 8 foot again. So this footprint you have here replicates out here. So you could actually add more stretches if you wanted to.
Yeah.
If you could fit that many people in a car.
Yeah.
So you're probably limited by that.
Yeah, for sure. But you get a big, you know, Sequoia family van or whatever. The cool thing about it too is it's not just a tent trailer. This is a true overland off-road trailer. What kind of suspension is this running?
Yeah, so it's a full independent suspension. So basically anywhere you are brave enough to tow it, it'll follow you there and follow you back. So if you've got a capable vehicle to go overlanding or off-road, as we call it, this thing will follow you anywhere.
Yeah, and on-road, I know we've been towing it all week so far with a Frontier, and the guy towing it, Will, he said he was comfortable at 80 miles per hour on the freeway in a small Frontier. So you could tow it with a small vehicle or a larger vehicle. It really is super capable. So tow's great on the highway, but off-roading, this thing, you could go anywhere.
Yeah, so the dry weight, 3,940 pounds is not a lot, right? So
yeah,
most vehicles in the US could tow that.
Yeah, no, without any issues. You said over 1,000 of these out in Australia.
Oh, there's more than 1,000. There's probably around 5,000.
Oh, really?
Yeah. We've been doing this model since 2016.
Okay. How long have you been making these types of campers?
17 years now.
17 years.
And so, you know, the development of this and the improvements of this particular model, we probably haven't really touched it and since we actually brought it into the US. So when you look at all the bits and pieces, componentry and how it all is put together and how it operates, we've got it to the absolute pinnacle level that we can. There's not really much more we can do this trailer to make it any better.
Yeah, I noticed that inside you have incredible amenities. You got an onboard furnace, so you have heat in this thing, which a lot of trailers that I've seen this size don't have heaters. We used to sell some other Ford Fold campers and no heater whatsoever. Me and my wife, we were talking about how we froze to death in one of these things. And so having that onboard heater is amazing. And also hot water, right?
Yeah.
And it's all plumbed, right?
Yes.
Okay, into your tap right up here into the kitchen.
Yeah, you've got hot and cold.
Hot and cold.
All the way through to here. And also when you look at the components that we use, this whole trailer, including the cabinetry, is all composite materials. So there's no wood in this trailer. There's no chance of anything rotting. You know, there's no expense spared when we actually put this together. This is our high-end pinnacle of what we do in a tent trailer.
That is very cool. Yeah. And so you guys feel pretty confident in the warranty on this chassis and everything.
Yeah, we offer a lifetime warranty on all our chassis.
What does that mean exactly?
So basically, if you break a chassis on any of our camper trailers or our tent trailers or our caravans, then we'll fix it or we'll replace it.
Yeah, fix it or give you a brand new trailer.
Yeah, but
because you're so guaranteed.
Well, they're built so well that if you've actually broken this, you've probably run your vehicle into a tree or done something silly that
you might not be alive. You might be at the bottom of the mountain.
You may not be around to claim a warranty.
That's exactly going to be the issue.
I mean, they're built well. We do the FEA analysis on all the chassis. We use the proper materials, the proper thicknesses. So, you know, we have confidence that you shouldn't break it. And if you use it correctly, you won't. But I mean, you can break anything, I guess, if you take a blowtorch to it or something silly. I'm sure you can cut it in half.
yeah, you can cut it up, roll it down a 12,000 foot mountain. You might break it, maybe.
Maybe.
I
don't think that'd be a warrantable use, though.
Yeah, that wouldn't be warrantable. Yeah, for sure.
But we've never had a chassis break. So we've sold over 40,000 units in Australia and in the US if you put them together. And we've never had a warranty claim on a chassis. So, you know, that's why we have absolute confidence of giving a lifetime warranty on the chassis.
That's crazy. I didn't know that you've sold over 40,000 trailers in Australia and the US. Like, that's a lot of trailers.
Yeah, so in the Australian market, we're the third largest manufacturer.
Yeah.
And a lot of these other travel trailers that you refer to, we were the originals. And so we had a 4-year leap on everyone else developing these types of products. And then, you know, other companies have decided there's a good market there and they've tried to copy. But, you know, you can't copy by looking at pictures on a website.
Yeah.
You need to go out, understand how the product's made, use the product, but also, you know, myself as a business owner, acquire the best people in the industry in Australia for off-roading products and bring them together to do the R&D.
I've noticed that, like, there's not a person that we've worked with that just didn't seem top-notch. When I talk to even the office ladies, you know, in California at the plant there, it seems like you're going out and finding some of the top people in the industry, and I've been very impressed.
Yeah, and I mean, I always say, you know, I've always been a lucky guy. I seem to fall into things, but I think also you make your own luck sometimes.
Yeah.
And so you build a great company like you have at ROA, and you know, you bring the team on the journey and put together a great team, offer great service to your customers, and you know, all the videos that you guys make, all the instructional videos, you do that for your customers. And there's a lot of companies that don't actually go to that effort, and it does take a lot of work. So we're very happy to align ourselves with companies like yourself, because that's our vision as well, is we want our customers to have the best experience, be customers for life. They can start in a tent trailer and end up in a travel trailer, and they might go for a cheaper end of town, and then down the track they might go for the high end.
Yeah.
You know, with all the bells and whistles, with the big solar panels, the big battery systems, you know, the inverters, things that make life absolutely comfortable. All you need to do is just plug in your 240 volt and, you know, you're laughing.
Or your 120.
Yeah, oh, yes, 120, so, you know.
Yeah, here in the US, 120. Yeah, that's something that I want to touch, what you said about, you know, alignment. I think when we first started getting into the off-road space almost 7 years ago, ROA's been around for 16 years now. But when we moved into the off-road space, we kind of looked out to Australia, because we're like, man, they're building some really cool stuff out there. And I remember I happened upon some of your guys' videos, and I thought to myself, man, these guys, they're really doing cool stuff, like value. You know, Steve was doing all the masterclass series. As we started carrying, I would like reach out and watch your videos, and I'd go, man, these guys are really cool. And as far as I can tell, what we're trying to create at ROA with our community, with the roamers, and just trying to create a phenomenal experience, the only other company that I've seen doing that as well is you guys. And I think you guys are actually doing it really good in Australia from what I can see. I mean, sometimes the algorithms only give you your regional stuff, just so everybody knows on YouTube. Sometimes they're giving you just United States stuff. Start typing in MDC Australia. There must be 1,000 videos of MDC stuff that you guys have made.
Yeah.
But even customers that own these products out there, because a lot of people are like, I want to see people that actually own it, what they're saying. And I've been getting on finding customer reviews, and I haven't found anything bad. Everybody's loving the product. And if you put 40,000 units into the market, if it's not good, like...
Well, you're not going to get to 40,000, are you?
Yeah.
You'll be gone by then. Yeah.
Is the market puts you under,
yeah,
right? And that's what we've seen with some of the manufacturers, especially during COVID, right? Anybody could sell anything. And now that we're coming out of it, the people that weren't really focused on quality and taking care of customers, they're the ones that are struggling. And that's usually what, you know, markets do as they come up and down. The people that don't offer the best service and the best product, they disappear because the market doesn't want to buy from them anymore. So it's really cool. I love that you're actually a user. You actually go out and camp. I mean, I've been out camping with you now a couple times.
Yeah.
I really appreciate that about you, that you actually use the campers and care about the user experience, you know, the customers. That's a huge deal. And
yeah, and we do have a good team. We had Will on this last trip. He's only recently new to us, but you know, he does what we do, and they're the sort of people that we try to acquire within our business, so you know, they can pass their experiences on to our customers. And you know, Anya, she's been towing around with us for the last 4 days, and she's absolutely carving it up and shown me up a few times, which is, you know, the absolute norm. So yeah,
you do got bald tires, I'll give you that. So
yeah.
Hey, so we should go inside for a second and continue this conversation out of the sun.
Yeah, absolutely.
So before we continue, this is a nice space in here.
Yeah, I've actually taken one of these out to the Big Red Bash.
Oh, really?
In 2016, Steve Zaman and I actually shared it. And we were both really sick.
Oh,
we had the flu. Is it called the flu here?
Yeah, it's the flu.
Yeah. And he's a good snorer too.
Is he a good?
So he keep me up a bit. Oh. And so obviously I'm down one end and he's down the other end. But you know, yeah, we were absolutely comfortable.
You got these curtains, yeah, you know, block out the noise a little bit.
A little bit.
Are these queen size beds?
They are queens, yes.
They look pretty nice and comfy too.
Mm.
They're thick. You got some good depth to them. Those look nice and comfy. So tell people what the Big Red Bash is so we understand.
Yeah, so the Big Red Bash is a music concert in the middle of Australia in the desert. It's similar to your Burning Man, however, it's more orientated around families and maybe older couples. So it's not like a party, but it also supports a lot of Australian artists.
Okay. Very cool.
And you have to travel around 1,500 miles to get there, and the roads are a bit rough towards the end. So it's a bit of an adventure. And our owners group have a specific space that the event organisers have given them because they go every year. And that's the MDC and Oz RV owners group. And so there's quite a committed bunch of people that go out there, and they'll gather up in groups from all over Australia and travel together.
So how many people came last year to that in your
Around about 150.
Oh, wow. Oh, I didn't realize that. That's a lot of caravans.
150 people.
150 people.
Yeah, it was about 90 vans.
Oh, that's a lot. That's still a big caravan. So everybody kind of like tries to meet up somewhere?
Yeah, we do. We meet about 40 miles out of town, and then we actually convoy in together.
And how far are you convoying?
It's about 40 miles.
40 miles from where you guys meet up to the Big Red Bash?
Yes.
Okay.
But the event's right in the middle of Australia, and so people are actually coming from everywhere.
So people are driving thousands of miles.
Yeah, and a lot of that is all off-road. So it's not like the US where you have sealed roads going everywhere.
Yeah.
That is off-road experience.
Fault, just so you know, sealed roads.
Yeah.
I've never heard of that until you said it. So sealed road. Maybe that is a technical term in the US.
We also call it bitumen.
Yeah.
Asphalt, same thing. Yeah.
Bitumen, asphalt. Yeah. They're both got cuss words in the name. Interesting. That's so random. And I'm always learning new words. The other one that I learned from you last time was toffee nose. That's like stuck up.
Yes.
That's like, yeah, toffee nose. We told him we're going to a restaurant. It's kind of posh. He's like, what's that? And he's like, toffee nose? We're like, yeah. So we're always learning. This is fun. So tell us a little bit more about who's your head that oversees a lot of the management and the quality.
So that's James Field, General Manager of Product and Commercial.
Okay. And he does a good job. I'm on message chats, him and I, one-on-one, and he sends me pictures of his family out camping. And
yeah, quite often he takes the product out.
It's because you were telling me like about how you try to find people that actually go camping.
Yeah. Well, he's been in the industry 20 years.
What did he do prior to coming to work with you?
For the last 6 years before he came over to us, he was in charge of compliance for Caravan Industry of Australia. So he worked for them, and so he would work with industry partners and helping them make sure they meet all the ADRs, which is Australian design rules and ways that you should build product for the RV industry and make sure that it complies with all the relevant laws.
I've worked with a bunch of manufacturers over the years, and I've never heard the word compliance come out so much out of any manufacturers more than you guys. You guys are always talking about compliance, like making sure everything is done right. Tell me your thoughts.
Yeah, I guess there's two reasons. Is if you've got a compliant product, it's safe. It's going to be good for the customers to use. But also from a business perspective, if you can make a compliant product, it goes a long way to avoiding things like recalls and quality issues.
Yeah.
You know, so for instance, things like positioning of lights on the back of a travel trailer. They have to be specific measurements, no further than this amount from the left or the right, or from the top to the bottom. You know, there's certain locations that you have to put your lights to meet the road rules. And the rules are different to Australia to the US.
And people don't always realize when you're dealing with some of the small mom and pop shops, some of those compliance things it's not so much that they're not trying to, it's sometimes they just don't know, and they don't have somebody that's in charge of going out and making sure everything's compliant. And believe it or not, you can start your own trailer manufacturer and you can put stuff out on the road and not even be RVIA certified. Or that's what I've seen with some of the smaller shops. You can see them putting things that you're like, that might not be RVIA approved. But they get away with it because they're small and they're only making a couple units a year, and people can buy them at their own risk, essentially. So I appreciate you guys. You build the amount of units that you build, you obviously have to.
Yeah, so for an example, right, the 2 spare wheels that we have on the back, you can't just go and place those anywhere because you have to have a certain amount of vision from angles around the back of the travel trailer where you can actually see your brake lights or your tail lights.
Okay.
And so that's the reason why we have multiple lights on the back, so you can see from all angles when they're coming on, because that's important when you're braking. If people can't see your brake lights, it's going to be a problem.
The overlanding off-roading industry in the United States is relatively new. I mean, like, I wouldn't even say it's barely 5 years old where people are building trailers. And so a lot of the manufacturers are brand new getting into this. It's not like the big manufacturers in the US are getting into it. It's a lot of small shops that are coming in. And I think it makes a big difference coming from, Australia. You guys have been doing this for decades at a much higher scale. So you're doing things right in the get-go in the United States. And you guys have now, how long have you guys officially been in the US?
Around about 5 years.
Oh, wow. You have been here.
Took a long time to get going.
Yeah.
But from a small scale, 5 years.
Yeah, so being the third largest manufacturer in Australia and really having a reputation and a brand, it's crazy to me. Like in the US, a lot of people don't know you guys. You're like brand new to the US to some. And I was at the show and saying, oh, MDC, people were like, who, what? I've never heard of that. And I imagine when you go to Australia, inside the shows, everybody knows who MDC is, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah, so I mean, and you guys have truly built a reputation. People are tattooing the MDC name on themselves.
Yeah, some of our team members have done that. 2 guys.
I think that's incredible.
We haven't had a customer go that far yet. We have had some customers buy up to 4 of our RVs.
Wow.
So that's pretty cool.
It's night and day different. Like the MDC product is from anything that I've seen coming into the US. It's just not on the same scale of professionalism, quality, and support. And I think if you're seriously interested in MDC, what you got to do is go and research Australia. There's a lot of articles written, a lot of content out there on YouTube that you can go and search. And definitely there's something unique where you have people returning, buying trailer after trailer, and you can tell there's a passion and a love that runs deep for the product in Australia.
Yeah, and if you've got people here that want to know more about the MDC brand, we have our podcast that comes out every week.
I have actually watched a few of those and they're really, really good. Just very informative. We've done a pretty bang up job. What's your vision for the US?
Yeah, so our vision for the US is, we want to grow our brand and put more of our amazing products into the market. And what we're really looking for is partners like yourselves that are very passionate around overlanding, very passionate about quality, very passionate about your customers and customer service, and making sure that, the customers have a good experience with the product. Not just hook up, see you later. Once they leave the driveway, we don't want to know you anymore. We don't want that. We want to work with partners that really care about the customers and use of the product, because we want that repeat business. Something that we do as a company is every year we'll bring in another new 3 or 4 new products. So we're always evolving, and we've got some pretty exciting things in the pipe that we won't talk about now. But ROA will, as soon as those things hit the market, you guys will be, first to see them.
Yeah, I'm pretty excited for that. Well, and you haven't told me too much. You're trying to keep me a little bit on suspense.
Yes.
So, yeah, thank you for sharing that. I've probably said similar things verbatim, like what you're saying, just with taking care of people. I get so frustrated in the United States market because, some of the big manufacturers and big dealers out there, they're known for just, here's your keys, and then they just want to see you out the door, right? And there's no real good walkthroughs teaching people, educating people. And then also something that at ROA we want to do is create opportunities for people to come together and go camping together. And one of our customers, we call them roamers, he said his favorite thing about ROA is they don't just sell a product, they actually get the customer to use the product. Right? And I think it's an atrocity where so many people buy a camper or caravan and it just sits in the garage or in the driveway and never gets used, right? And I'm like, well, at that point, why'd you even buy it? You got to grab it and you got to go out and use it and have fun, because that's where all the memories and the experiences are made, out in incredible places like this, right?
Yeah, and something I really love about you guys, yourself and Cynthia, is you guys are campers before you started doing this business. And here we are at a spot where you guys frequently visit and have done you know, since you've been married, or maybe before then as well, you know, and we've heard stories about things that have happened out here. And, you know, it just means a lot to myself, Anya and Oliver, that we get the chance to come out here and visit a place that, you know, means a lot to you and your family.
Yeah, that witch story, that meant a lot to us. We had a witch knock on our door one night while we were camping. Not really. That's a long story, but we were watching a scary movie with a witch and somebody knocked on our door at midnight. We were all screaming. We were telling ghost stories. They weren't ghost stories or scary stories last night around the campfire. And yeah, I've been up here. I like to say this area, this canyon, I know like the back of my hand. This is like my home. But I love exploring, I love camping, I love overlanding. It's not work to me, it's just my passion, and fortunately I get to work doing this stuff. I consider myself lucky. You know?
Yeah, and you know, I get to travel around the globe and do the same thing.
Yeah.
So, you know, sometime in the future, ROA needs to come over to Australia and we'll show you guys how we do it.
Yeah, Big Red Bash next year. You want to see that? Let us know. I'm really grateful that we got to be able to sync up and already go on multiple adventures together. And just this year, it's crazy. You've been out a few times, 3 times, right? We've been off-roading already. And I always say, you know, when you're working with a company that is still run, operated by the founder, the experience is so much different, especially when they themselves go out and use the product. And I think that's something that we both do a lot. And I think that's why we sync up so well. And to me, what's most important for you, the people watching it, is that defines a different experience for you, right? Because when you buy a product by people that use the product, they want to make sure it's good. They want to make sure it's the best. I do anyways. And I feel like that's how you are too in your team. That translates to the owners, like the end user, because if it's somebody that's just pushing out product and manufacturing, they never camp in it, they can't even comprehend sometimes why a design sometimes is stupid, like, or why, you know, something doesn't function the way, because they don't go and camp, they don't use it, so they can't always comprehend like what's wrong with it, right, until you actually go out and camp. And to me, I think that goes all the way to the end user, and that's why you want to buy product from people that actually use the product. Well, thank you so much. This has been fun.
Yeah, thanks for having us again.
Yeah,
and we'll be looking forward to the next adventure.
It's not over yet. We're doing 4th of July tomorrow.
I know, how good.
And then we're coming back and going off-roading even more. So it's not over yet. We're only halfway done. So stay tuned. Those adventures will be coming very, very soon. And we're going to be doing a really cool walk around of that trailer over there. A lot of people have been asking for that 4,000 pound trailer with a bathroom inside. That's pretty cool. That's a pretty cool trailer. Lots of good stuff to come, like Vaughan said, in the future, but we got a lot of good stuff right now already here, and we're super excited. So thanks for watching. If you have any questions, feel free. Hey, if you ask questions, we'll actually get him out here again in the future, and we'll be able to sit down and do a whole nother answer to your questions. So thanks for watching, and have a wonderful day.